Yo, what's going on everybody? Mike here with Backpacking TV, and today we're gonna talk about safety when you're hiking and backpacking internationally. So international travel, you've got your own safety concerns. Backpacking and hiking off in the wilderness, especially alone, you've got your own safety concerns there too. And you put the two together and you wind up in a situation where you've got some additional safety concerns that you might not have considered. So I just got back from a couple trips. I went to Scotland, I went to Costa Rica, I had a beautiful time, nothing went wrong, it was great, but still, this stuff is kind of pertinent on my mind. So let's go over some tips and tricks on how to stay safe whenever you're hiking and backpacking internationally. First thing that I would suggest, is probably the most important thing, is food and water safety. We're gonna start with water. You've got to remember that you are a machine, and your tum-tum, your gut, your biome is used to the things that you eat and drink regularly. So food poisoning obviously is a thing that happens, but even if there's nothing wrong with the food, you can get ill, you can get sick to your stomach if you're just not used to it. So you want to make sure that you can access clean water and food that you're used to on a moment's notice should something like that happen. So absolutely 100% bring something like this. This is a Hydro Pack, it's a filter bottle. I've also got this. This is a Life Straw. This is a more conventional filter. Some kind of way to get water, whether that's water from a creek or just tap water in a place that you're not entirely sure about, and filter that into something that you know is gonna be good. It's not gonna make you sick. Food, very similar mindset. It's always good to have something in your back pocket, maybe even literally if you can fit this in your pocket. This is dehydrated food. I always carry my food. I always carry a camp stove, even if I don't intend on using it. Even if on the schedule we're gonna be in a town or a village where we know there are restaurants. You never know what situation is gonna come up. So it's always a good idea to have some dehydrated food and a way to cook it no matter what. By all means, don't deny yourself the fun of trying new foods in a new environment, but you do want to take care of yourself because nothing's worse than being sick out in the middle of nowhere. Next up, we got money. Can't get food and water. By the way, if you hear like huge thunder, we've got a massive storm rolling in. You'll probably pick that up, I don't know. But anyways, money, very important. I've got money here as a visual aid. I feel like you all probably know what money looks like, but it's important to have hard currency for the country that you're traveling in. Visas, MasterCards, things like that, they're gonna work typically. Typically, if they have a Visa, MasterCard machine, you tap your card and it's gonna do all the heavy lifting for you. Sometimes those don't always work. Might be an issue with your card, might be an issue with the machine. Your bank just might say no, which is a thing that can happen. You can be spending money in another country and for some reason, some automated system trips and now you don't have access to your bank account anymore. That's bad. So you wanna make sure that you've got cash in your local currency readily available should something like that happen. Next up, we got traveler's insurance. So going to another country and having some kind of accident happen is gonna be kind of costly and also a massive headache. You could get sick, you could get injured. There are different companies that offer travel insurance. The company that we work with is called Redpoint. I have this insane plan. I mean, if something happens to me, I'm pretty sure like commandos come to get me, which is crazy. But there are different packages, so some of it's more extreme. I'm on the more extreme end. I know Redpoint has different packages for like cruise ship style traveling. It's gonna be less expensive and it's gonna have less features, but hopefully you won't need commandos to rescue you on a cruise ship unless something goes horribly, horribly wrong. But there's plenty of different insurance providers out there that will provide travel insurance, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And honestly, it's just kind of worth the peace of mind. I live in the United States, and I feel like my insurance isn't gonna work most of the time. So I know it's not gonna work if I'm somewhere else. So having traveler's insurance through a reliable brand is gonna be important if that's something that you want to do. I recommend it. Good peace of mind, good stuff. Next up, we got gizmos, gadgets, phone chargers, phone plans, that sort of thing. I'm kind of all lumping this into one since most of it these days has to do with your phone. But something to remember, all of you Americans out there, like me, other places don't use the same wall plugs as us, which is like something I knew, but my idiot self just forgot. I forgot to bring any kind of wall adapter when I went to Scotland. And I got there and I see the funny little wall holes they've got in Scotland, and I think, oh, okay, I'm a complete dummy. So get an adapter, something that is going to give you that access to power in whatever country you're visiting. Something else to consider is your phone plan. You're gonna wanna talk to your friends, you're gonna wanna send pictures, you're gonna wanna talk to your family. People are gonna call and check on you, and you don't wanna rack up a $100 bill like I also did in Scotland. A lot of times phone plans will have a temporary option where you can pay a little bit more and then you can get that data in whatever country you're visiting. So oftentimes that's worth it. There are also specific plans. Some people recommend getting a number for the country you're visiting, which I don't think is important unless you're gonna stay there for a very, very long time. Next up, we got vaccines. Who likes getting poked with needles? Me. Just kidding. I hate that. But I still get the vaccines for wherever I'm visiting. So there are things called travel clinics. If you haven't been to one, there's probably one very near you. Basically, the idea is you go to a travel clinic and you say, hey, I am visiting XYZ countries, and then they look through their database and they see what kind of diseases are currently going on over there, and then they recommend vaccines to you based on those. So when I went, I think I just got a typical flu vaccine. I got my tetanus shot, again, because I was behind on that, and a few others. I know like chikungunya is a big deal in South America right now. Dengue is a big deal, but that's something that like you can't get vaccinated for. They'll give you pills to prevent malaria depending on where you're going. So it's a good idea to go by there and at least check. Probably well worth your time. Next up, I want to talk about directions. So this is a big one because people who live in the United States, we can sometimes fall under the misconception that all trail systems across the world operate just like ours do. When we go hike the Appalachian Trail or the PCT, we know that we're going to get on a trail, and it will be one trail that extends in one direction for a very long period of time. And that's good. That's what we're very used to. But you go to trails in other countries, might not be like that. There might be fewer trail markers. The trails may connect to roads that lead you through all sorts of villages and towns that kind of give you a lot of opportunities to make a wrong turn and wind up going in the wrong direction. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a physical map of the trail that you're going on, if at all possible. If they offer a physical map, make sure you get a physical map. If they don't offer physical maps, make sure you get a digital map. One thing I like about modern navigational apps, and I know this is true of AllTrails, this is true of OnX, as well as a few others, is that if you pay for their premium service, which I know can be obnoxious, you can download the map and use it offline. So you can use GPS to connect to satellites to tell you exactly where you're going. I think that is how GPS works. So you can use GPS and it's going to point you in the right direction, even if you don't have service, which is going to be an issue in many, many places. Next up, we got wilderness first aid. This is some general safety stuff. I recommend anybody who's going to be doing hiking and backpacking to do first aid. Wilderness first aid, it's not that expensive to get involved in. I don't know the exact price, but here it is. That's how much it costs. This is something that I did when I was in college. It's 100% expired now. I definitely need to get a new one. But you'll learn a lot of stuff about keeping yourself and others alive and okay in the wilderness. It's something that I definitely recommend you look into, because even though your certification might run out eventually, like mine, you don't really forget everything. There's a few lessons you learn in there that kind of stick with you, and I'm extremely grateful that I was forced to take it back then. Because I feel a lot more confident in the woods now. So next up, we're going to talk about a little bit of emergency route planning here. If you're going to do a long distance trail especially, you're going to cover a big swath of a country, you're going to be in range and out of range of good hospitals. And you want to know where the hospital, the nearest hospital, is going to be to you at specific points in the trail. So you know that when you start the trail, if something were to happen, this is the hospital you want to go to. Then you go to this segment of the trail and all of a sudden, that hospital's now too far away and you're going to want to go to this hospital. So you want to know where the nearest hospital is depending on where you are on the trail, and it can get a little complicated. Luckily, when we're shooting the TV show, our wonderful production managers have all of this listed out on sheets, so I can check our schedule for the day, and right there it is, like nearest hospital X location, which is really handy for me, but I feel like a lot of people don't know where the nearest medical center is going to be, so this is something that you should definitely keep your eye on, something you should definitely know. And finally, we've got local laws, especially local laws regarding camping. Again, trail systems in other countries don't work like trail systems in the United States. Whenever we go through, say, the Appalachian Trail, you can kind of stop anywhere and camp because it's the Appalachian Trail and it's just kind of understood that you can do that. Maybe not anywhere, there's etiquette, but that's a different video. The idea is that in a tight situation, if you need to break your tent out and camp, say you face some extreme inclement weather or something, it's totally allowed, it's perfectly fine. In other countries though, trails might pass through private property. Trails might pass through parks where camping is not allowed, might pass through an area where camping is perfectly fine, and then 10 feet down the road, you're in an area where camping is strictly forbidden. So you want to make positively sure that you can camp in certain areas, and if you can't camp, and it is a long distance trail, you want to know where the shelters that you can stay are going to be. Logistically, it can be kind of difficult depending on the trail that you're on, but it's something to know. So those are just a few little tips and ideas that the past couple trips had me thinking about. If you think of anything else that's going to be very, very important when camping or hiking, backpacking in another country, let me know down here in the comments, and maybe it's something that I'll be able to include in a future video. And until next time, I'm Mike with Backpacking TV, and I will catch you all later.